Mike the Troop Jackson here at Diablo Loco. This is going to be the Legacy 59 preview show, and today I'm joined by none other than Show Nuff, Mr. Richard Birdmaster. How you feeling today, sir?
Man, I'm feeling great. Mike, how you feeling today?
Look, I know I'm not hungry like these other guys.
No, I mean, these guys kind of look miserable today. Miserable.
Who's the worst you've seen? Who's the most drained out you've seen so far?
Doo-Doo Brown.
It's like a 145 fight.
Yeah.
And you know, the crazy thing about this is he should be a 145er.
Yeah.
But he's just a big chunky boy who likes to have fun with his extracurriculars.
Evidently, he's the guy who doesn't like to train. So, as far as I know, man, when I've seen the kids just get in the gym, man. Get in a real gym.
It was crazy because when we boxed, he set the weight. He was like, I told him I boxed at 165,
yeah.
And he was like, nah, we boxing at 175. And I was like, dude, you're like a 45 or 55, or what are you talking about, 75?
He's like 5'3", right? He's like 5'3", 5'4". I mean, I would say he looks the most miserable today so far.
For sure. All right, guys, we're here for the Legacy 59. We're at the weigh-ins at Diablo Loco in Houston, Texas. They're hosting the weigh-ins today, but we're here to give you a brief preview of the main card, which takes place tomorrow night on Access TV. But we will start with a special undercard attraction.
Yes.
This is going to be a fun fight. We have on the prelims, we have ESPN's own AJ Hoffman taking on Thomas Jabba the Hutt Moreno.
This is the real main event. This is the real main event.
The people's main event.
This is the people's main event. The fight that people want to see. No one is rooting for Thomas. I'm sorry. Like, no one is rooting for you. I respect the hustle a little bit. Like, I respect him getting on a card, but you got no business here, man.
I don't even think his boyfriend Clarence respects him. I mean, because they had a lover's quarrel not too long ago.
Yeah, it was like someone didn't use lotion or did use lotion. I don't know what the whole deal was, but they split up for a little while. But they're back together today. I saw Clarence was crying or sweating, one of the two on Thomas. I don't know what it was.
I'm going to take crying because he doesn't sweat. But so with this fight, this is the last fight on the undercard. How do you see this fight going with AJ and Moreno?
I think AJ rips his knee out of place. Like, I don't see anywhere where Thomas has either an advantage or any type of ability. He's not going to have any cardio. He's not going to have any striking. Love AJ to death, and his striking isn't the greatest either. That's our boy. We love you, AJ. But his specialty is AJ's going to put him on the ground and try to rip his leg off.
Is it safe to say? Well, have you seen Thomas's training videos? Or
Is that the Lifetime Fitness heavy bag workout?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. I think Thomas makes AJ look like Floyd Mayweather in the ring tomorrow night. or in this case, as we're doing MMA, he'll make him look like Anderson Silva out there.
I mean, everybody has a puncher's chance, except Thomas. Because he can't punch. So, I wish him the best. That's a lie. I don't wish him the best at all. I hope it's a long, horrible fight for him. And I hope AJ decides not to go to a submission and that he puts him on his back and just beats him every chance he gets. Sink in the rear naked choke and let it go. Sink in the heel hook, let it go, AJ. Just work him a little bit.
There you go. That's our rundown for the last prelim of the night. But now let's get to the real fights here. Kicking off the televised card, we have Chad Cook versus Danny Orr. Chad Cook is definitely a veteran in the sport, and Danny Orr is coming back from a pretty nasty injury that he suffered a while back on the Legacy card. What are your thoughts on this particular fight?
I think Danny Orr, that was his first loss ever, whether as an amateur or as a professional. It's going to be an interesting fight. You got two, I love them, octogenarians in there. They're old dudes, man. They're all like us, man. They're almost 40, over 40. I really think Chad Cook's wrestling and experience is going to be the difference. Chad Cook's been around for a long, long time. A great wrestler, great ground and pound, great submission skills. And I just see him being able to take Danny and put him down, use the inexperience as his advantage.
No, I agree. And take nothing away from Danny. He's a great fighter. I think this is just a bad fight for him coming off that injury that he sustained not too long ago. Not necessarily need a warm-up because he's a tough guy, but maybe a little smarter fight choice. Second fight, which is easy could be fight of the night. We have the Ginger Ninja, Randy McCullough, and Mike Trent, and the rematch.
Is that like the Asian assassin, Mike Trent? Got the Ginger Ninja and the Asian assassin.
Sure, but I know he makes his restaurant, Mike Seafood.
Hey, Mike, if you go to Mike's Seafood, he puts it down. Doesn't matter what you order, it's gonna be delicious.
Man, those crawfish. I'm from Louisiana. Wow, they can compete with some of the best. But no. All right, so the fight itself, again, this is a rematch. They competed, I want to say, at Fury 8 a year or so ago, and it was a great fight. It was an amazing blood-filled fight. What are your thoughts on this fight this evening or tomorrow night?
You know, Randy McCullough is the guy that you never pick to win. Like, you see him in every fight, you see him and you think, he's not going to win this one. But the dude's undefeated. The dude's got a chin. The dude can scrap. He can get it going. Mike Trent may be like the most in shape 40-something-year-old man I've ever met in my life. Like, the dude is never not in shape. And I'm gonna pick Mike Trent by submission in this fight. I think Mike Trent's got the ability. He's an amazing fighter. This is hands down. This is gonna be fight of the night. Like, I think there's one other fight that could challenge it, but I'm gonna pick this as my fight of the night, and I'm gonna take Mike Trent by submission.
It's a good pick. I have nothing to say against that. Again, this can go either way. From my point of view, it can go either way. Randy, he did say in an interview, one of my guys on the site, that in his last fight he had an injury. Yeah. You know, he fought with that. But I mean, what fighter is really 100% in a fight? Well, especially, I mean, you see the way they fight. You know, these guys bring it. So I don't think either one of those guys ever go into a fight 100%. And seeing Mike in his age, I mean, it's hard to stay healthy in those 40s.
It's hard to stay healthy, but he's, like I said, he's always in shape. He's always like fight ready. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I'd like to see this one go 3 rounds again, have a nice bloody war, but we'll see.
All right, next up. Oh, this is a great card. I really didn't even look at it thoroughly until now. I just kind of looked at the names. But next up we have Colin Right and Adrian Yanez. I'll let you take this one.
Look, I've said it from day one. Colin Right is probably my favorite fighter. A guy started off, didn't lose as an amateur, pretty much went and got every belt he could. Started off 0-2 as a pro, on a 5-fight win streak. The kid's got it all, and he trains at one of the best gyms in the state you can go to over at Paradigm. Yanez is a monster. That is a monster, and especially at this weight class, that is a monster. But I'm going to go ahead and take Colin Right by submission. I think he can finish him.
I mean, this is, this is at the local level or regional level with Legacy. This is definitely a UFC caliber fight, I feel. Both the guys are extremely talented, and I can even see both of them in the UFC in the future. You know, Adrian, he's competed on the Bellator card, and he looked phenomenal. We just don't know with these guys. And again, this is one of those toss-ups for me. I can't pick either or, but it's definitely a good card.
If I had known Colin Right since before his very first fight, I probably would be on the same card. But it's probably a little emotional to pick. At the same time, it's a toss-up. These guys are amazing on both sides. And the cool thing about this, we talked about this on the radio show the other night, ESPN 97.5, Dingo and the Boys, Fridays at 7 p.m. So plug. Make sure. You look at this card and you pick red corner or blue corner, anyone in any of these fights on the televised card, that's a prospect. That's a legit UFC prospect sitting right there. Like, this card, many of these guys from this card are going to be fighting in the UFC in the next year.
Next up, now this one is probably the fight I know least about, and it seemed to be some switcheroos going on here, but we have a Chris Pham who's 5-5, and he's taking on Domingo Pilarte, who's 5-1. I know Domingo. You know Domingo. The kid is very talented. He's had a few mental blocks in the past, but I want to say he's gotten over those, and we're about to see a new Domingo.
I think Domingo Pilarte is a guy that probably 3 years ago, me and you were talking about, Mike, as being, this is the guy. Like, if you're going to pick a guy to come out of Houston, he has it all. He has everything. And his one loss is one of the best fights we've ever had. Him versus Kyle Machado was one of the best fights we have ever had. And I honestly didn't care who they put on the other side of this bracket across from Domingo. I'm going Domingo. I'm going Domingo by TKO when he decides to.
That man, great assessment. Here we go, another great fight. And then this was a switch at the last minute as well. I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But we have Justin Riswork versus Jason Langelier.
Man, any other night, this could be the main event. Like, this could be the main event. This is the hardest fight for me to pick on this entire card. Jason Langelier is Texas's own John Jones, man. The guy's like 6'9", 6'12". Like, I don't know how. He's like 6'4", right? He's got a massive reach. But you can never count out Justin Riswork. Justin Riswork is one of the most explosive finishers you will find in this sport, whether it's a submission, whether it's a TKO. This is the hardest fight to pick for me. I'm going to have to go with Justin Riswork by decision. I don't think he can put Langelier away. I think Langlier's just too damn good for that. But if I'm forced to pick somebody, I'm going to go Riswork.
No, I agree. That's an accurate assessment. Justin is, I mean, he's a veteran of the sport. He's been doing this. I want to say I started in 2008, and I mean, he was already, deep into MMA by that time. He was a known name out in the College Station area as an amateur. I mean, the kid's good, and take nothing away from Jason. He's a phenomenal athlete. Just did one of my guys interview him on the site as well. The dude, he came from basketball, and he jumped in MMA really just to get in shape. And then that turned into, I'll fight once. And then that turned into, he's a fight or two away from the legacy title, man.
And this is one of those fights that you almost hate to see on one of our cards because you hate to see either one of these guys pick up a loss. Someone's got to lose. Like, there's just no other option. And you hate to see that because both of these guys will fight in the UFC. Both of these guys will have long careers in the UFC. These aren't gatekeepers. These are legit prospects to go in there and challenge for titles at the most elite level. And it sucks that we got to have them, somebody pick up a loss, but also it's so great we get to see it.
Oh, for sure. This is definitely a high-quality fight, and glad to have this on Legacy. This is going to be a step up in competition for Jason. He's never fought anyone of Justin's caliber, so it's going to be a test. If he can legitimately beat Justin, I mean, this says a lot for him, and it does a lot for him in his career. And then we move on to the main event of the evening. This is going to be a great fight. We have undefeated prospect, 6-0 Trevin Giles, taking on a Texas MMA veteran, or just a fighting veteran. I mean, because the dude he comes to and he leaves just damage in his wake. We have Hurricane Ike Villanueva. Yeah. Man, what's your thoughts on this fight?
I think Ike's first fight was when he was 7. Like, I think they let him fight at 7 because he was just that damn good. This is a hard fight to pick, man. Ike he's one of the guys who's always been around this sport, kind of like a Texas legend in the vein of like a Rocky Long type of guy who's just been around, man. And he can put anybody away. And this new Ike is scary. This isn't the heavyweight Ike or the 205 Ike. This Ike looks like a dang bodybuilder. I mean, he is ripped. And he's got cardio, and he seems more patient. Remember, Ike used to come out and he just tried to put you away. Now he seems patient. The only problem with that being patient is Trevin Giles is a monster. Standing on the ground, grappling, it does not matter where. He is one of the strongest, freakiest fighters I've watched. I don't want to say his chin is suspect because Brendan Allen put it on him for the first part of their fight with us. He put it on him. He weathered that storm. I think if Ike can land the big blow, Ike can put him away. But I think Giles will fight the smart fight and would look to put him on his back, and I'm going to have to take Giles by submission.
No, and that's, again, these are tough fights to pick. Trevin, great, again, a phenomenal athlete. He went over on short notice in RFA and smashed those guys over there. He's been, leaving bodies over here at Legacy as well. He's been traveling, going to, Louisiana, these other outside shows. Me being fortunate enough to train with Ike from time to time over a 4-ounce. So I've seen his progression. I've seen him turn into a different type of fighter. And this is definitely a fight I've been excited to watch. I think I'm friends with just about outside the
Everybody on the main
bums,
card,
outside the
yeah.
bums at the bottom of the card. I'm pretty much friends with everyone. But this is a hard one to pick because you don't know which Ike's going to show up. You don't know if Trevin is ready for that type of a fighter in Hurricane Ike. So we don't know what's going to happen. But I do know it's going to be a great card from beginning to end. So you want to make sure you're not at the Arena Theater. Look, that's the spot to be tomorrow night, Friday night in Houston. The undercard we're going to start at 7.
Yeah, undercard is going to start at 7, and don't miss it because my favorite trio, the Baracho Gatos, Chris Solis, Jonathan Davis, and Jordan Carmona, the three, talk about young prospects, these three cats, and I'm going to throw Christian Lear in there because that's my dude. Those guys are leading this new wave of MMA guys, and these kids can beat you anywhere, on the ground, on the feet. It does not matter. Get to the Arena Theater early. Doors open at 6:30. First fight's at 7. Come watch these young kids do work because they are amazing.
There you go. And then the main card. If you can't make it out, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But if you can't make it out to the Arena Theater tomorrow night for Legacy 59, you can catch us live on Access TV at 9 p.m. Central. And again, that's going to be led by Michael Chavello and UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow night.